Mailbag 43-ish. Some electronic stuff and some stuff from Amazon. And we'll start with the box. Now normally I toast off the labels on this, but with this symbol here on the box, I don't think I'm going to put a lighter to it, even though the chances of anything happening are slim to nil. What that symbol is hazardous material, limited quantities. This number here is actually the dot number for it. Department of Transportation, I believe that is. And that number there is a very specific one that Amazon applied for shipping hazardous material. So, let's open it up. Obviously, I know what's inside this one. Check to make sure camera is on. Okay. One container. Empty. And second container. Put them like this, prop them up so they don't try to roll away too far. So let's go over this one here first. Basically it's contact cleaner. I've got an old radio that I'm going to be working on and at some point, and I'll be needing to clean the switches and the air capacitors. I haven't actually bought any of this in over 20 years, mainly because of all these nice little labels on it. So let's go through what this is. First off, I paid $19.79 for it. It's 11 ounces of cleaner. For the MSD, they've got lots of symbols, and I'll put them up in the corner there. Essentially, it's a fire hazard, compressed gas hazard, a respiratory hazard, and an irritant. They missed actually one on their SDS because the contents of this, which is now up over there, shows that it contains 2-methyl whatever pentane, 30 to 40% of that, and that is also an environmental hazard. Now, on their sheet, which one of the corners probably, it does indicate that it's an irritant and an environmental hazard. So I don't use this one too often. Let's see, what else? Flammability. This contains 30 to 40% of that previous chemical I mentioned, and it has an auto ignition at 306 degrees centigrade or 583 degrees Fahrenheit. Guess what? That's the same as some of the times I have the setting on the soldering iron. So in theory, you could light this with that. Now it is diluted with other chemicals that are all petrochemicals. Everything's flammable that they pretty well stick in here. I think they probably use like a CO2 as a propellant, but everything else is flammable. So that one, use it very few times. I used to use it a fair amount more when I had to actually fix stuff. Super cold. I paid $24.95 for it. It's 14 ounces, and basically it's exactly what it says. You spray to freeze a circuit. What's in it is in that corner there. It's not exactly flammable. You'd have to actually get it extremely hot to ignite. So it's just basically a compressed gas hazard and frostbite. So that's for these two. these out of the way. Now for the other package. Okay. One of those. And that's it. So, I decided to pick up a meter. This thing, okay, first off, I'll put up in the corner here. I paid $4.13 for this. It's currently listed at $23.60, discounted to $11.80. So shop around. It's the DT-830B. With a tiny little instruction manual. I did find the online manual for it, so I'll post some of the stuff up in the corner. And it's light, so it needs batteries. So let me go find some. Now, first off, I better figure out what battery it needs. It has 2 screws on the back side. And not a lot in here. Okay, I need a 9-volt. So let's hook her up. Boy, that barely fits. I'm gonna hope the battery goes down there. And yeah, that more or less fits. Let's put it back together. There it goes. I bought this as a disposable one. So, now I can go over what's in this thing. Let's take a quick look at the specs on this. It has DC voltage, or what it can do, 200 millivolt, 2000, 20 volt, 200, 1000. I don't think I'd want to hold on to these things with 1000 volts DC. For AC, 200 and 750. Once again, I think I'd want something a bit beefier than that. Now, let's see. DC current. 200 microamps. 2000 microamps. 20 milliamps. 200 milliamps. And 10 amps. It has a fuse for these ones, but for the 10 amp, there's no fuse. If you put in too much, it goes poof. For resistance, 200 ohms, 2000, 20K, 200K, 2000K. And actually, I've got a resistor around here somewhere. Here's a resistor. This is a 560K or 560 ohm resistor, 1%. So let's see what this says it is. Do 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 do. 559.4 ohms. So this thing's saying that this is a very good resistor. Now let's set this on resistance. On the 2000 setting. I'll measure there. Force it against there. 548. Let's see what's a dead short. Within 1. 547. So this was much more accurate than this one. Something to keep in mind, considering it's only $4.51. Let's see, temperature. Whoops, you can't see that. Temperature. This model doesn't do it. On the corner there, I'll put the different model numbers. Some of them do one thing and don't do another. So for transistors, HFE. Hey, that's not too bad. That's but in the manual, it says that it can't figure out what's what. So you need to know what the pins are. This here is a BC3372 5 TA, which I bought in Mailbag 37-ish for 5 cents a piece. I doubt you're going to see that too well. Let me know what they look like. So first off, I'll test it in here, because this thing will actually tell me which pins are which. Come on. Okay, number 1 is the collector, and it says its HFE is 420. Now, let's see. That was collector pin 1. It's an NPN. So it goes on that side. Oops, better switch that to the proper thing. And it's reading 247. You kind of have to actually push it down and push it to the side a bit. That transistor's rated between 100 and I think it was 630 for HFE. So, yeah, they're measuring it at different conditions. And it also has a diode tester, which is also the continuity tester. So if it's under 50 ohms, it was supposed to beep. I don't hear no beeping, unless the beeper's not within the specs on the, or within the what's supposed to be in here. But there's no beeping. Okay, I looked at the specs. This one doesn't have the beeper in it. So, yeah, get what you pay for. So that's about it for this. That's cheap and expendable. So, on to the next bag. And the last item. It's been going so well. Okay. Always cut away from yourself. Ooh, that's actually got some weight to it. It is an LM2596S. It's a buck converter, step down, input on, oops, on this side is 3 to 40 volts, and output is 1.5 to 35 volts. The input must be 1.5 volts at least above the output. Now I'm just going to zoom down on this. So I paid a whopping $2.75 in the corner there. This was in March of 2024. Currently I saw a price of $6.07 for 5, with a regular price of $12.14. So shop around. Output on this side is supposed to be good to 3 amps. I'll probably be testing that in another video. We know how well it went with those MT3608s in a previous video, though I would hope these don't smoke like those ones did. Obviously this piece here looks a lot more beefy than the fake MT3608s. I think I got the number right. What do we have on here? I believe that's a Schottky diode down here, SS34. We've got a 47 microhenry inductor here. 10,000 ohm trim pot. And on their spec sheets, they are very proud of these capacitors. Because I think they said they're a Sanyo or something. I'll put up in the corner there. So that's about it. I hope these ones work better than those step-ups. And this is a step-down only. They make that very clear. So, that's it for these parts. I'll just flip this over. They show you which way it should be going. A nice size ground plane on the back. And a few, there's a little trim capacitor in there. And a resistor. Ditto on that side. Well, have a good day. This video is going a bit long. Bye.